Hello, my name is Xiomara Arias, and today I'm excited to present my research for the topic I chose this semester, which focuses on the use of whips in the horse industry. The use of whips in the equine industry is a long debated topic. On one side, we have support for the use of the whip, and on the other side, we have support for the complete abolition of whips. As discussed at the beginning of the semester, there is no simple answer which is 100% correct. But by carefully examining the points which I will bring up today, I hope you can discover your own conclusion on this controversial topic. Let's dive in. First, I would like to go over the main points of the movement which supports the use of the whips. One of the main points for this view is horses communicate differently, and what this means is horses are prey animals which have their own form of communication. Their language often includes biting and kicking, all of which can be dangerous to humans who are significantly smaller than a 1,000-pound animal. This means that humans must be able to effectively communicate with horses in a way the animals understand, in order to avoid injury and even death. Here we can see the importance of communicating with a horse in order to ensure safety or at least mitigate injury. This chart shows injuries over just a few years in the USA alone. According to Ball et al., quote, horseback riding is more dangerous than motorcycle riding, skiing, football, and rugby, unquote. If you have played any of these sports or read the news, I'm sure you can understand the significance of this statement. The ProWhip movement believes whips are the answer to this dilemma of mass injuries, as horses do respond to the whip, and it is considered an important part of racing safety. Studies show evidence for this statement, such as one conducted by Knight and Hamilton in 2014, which shows that jockeys can use their whips to steer horses. Furthermore, those in support of the whip flaunt the fact that the racing industry is designing whip rules as a way to better equine welfare, with the findings therefore demonstrating whips are no longer being used abusively as a direct result of these regulations. Over the course of 10 years, whip offenses have decreased at a fairly steady rate. This is evidence to the fact that rules and punishments regarding whip use are working. Next, I would like to discuss the opinions and facts on which the anti-whip movement is based. First of all, in an emotional appeal, these individuals say that whips are abusive and unnecessary forces. Whips have been shown to be inessential to races. In certain studies, they have been found to have no impact on the safety or integrity of a race. According to research done by Thompson et al., there is no proof that whips provide aid for any of the main reasons they are kept around for. Quote, no evidence that the use of whips contributed to steering, reduced the likelihood of interference, improved the safety of the horse or jockey, or made horses run faster overall, unquote. Furthermore, to address a huge fear in the racing industry over potential loss of income, studies have found that those who bet on races will continue to bet even if whips are banned. This chart shows public opinion on the use of whips in racing. It is clear that a majority of individuals do not agree with the use of whips in equine racing. And in the last question, of those who actually bet on racing, only a small percent said that they would stop watching races if whips were banned. This chart diminishes the fear of the racing industry, which says that the abolition of whips will decrease revenue. On top of this evidence, there is research that shows a correlation between whip use and rider injuries in steeplechase races. In a study by Pinchbeck et al., to put it simply, the overuse of the whip by jockeys has caused horses to panic, causing havoc such as tripping over jumps, which ultimately result in injuries for both horse and rider. These injuries directly correlate with whip use. Lastly, there is evidence to suggest whip regulations are not working as intended, since the fines for whip offenses ultimately are nothing compared to the prize money awarded. This figure shows the huge difference between fines and prize money for specific jockeys. When you're awarded so much money for winning a race, monetarily consequences don't really matter. As you can see, fines are not that big of a punishment when this much money is being gained. Finally, I want to provide my own opinion. First, horses are most certainly dangerous, and humans must be able to properly communicate with them. Given the fact there are other forms of communicating and training horses, I do not believe whips are the best choice for adequate communication. Secondly, we can see through studies that whips are not working as well as hoped. They are not achieving their goal of ensuring equine welfare. Lastly, there is no true necessity to whips. Whip-free races have been proven to work just as well as traditional racing, and whips have been shown to be a cause of injuries. All of these factors lead me to conclude whips should be banned from the equine racing industry. The racing industry should embrace whip-free racing and its benefits, such as equine welfare. Instead of putting money and tradition above our horses' welfare, we should make the horses and their comfort our priority. Finally, I want you to consider what you have learned from this presentation. As I mentioned before, there is no one right answer that always works. Please carefully consider this information as you form your own opinion, and then discuss it with others. As I have learned in this class, discussion leads to change and innovation in the topic discussed and in your own way of thinking. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have enjoyed this presentation.